It's the waitingfornextyear.com podcast. Still here with Hattery and Poloha.
Ready up.
Everybody loves saying your name. Poloha. But anyway, we were going to talk about tickets. We were talking about tickets. I canceled my Browns tickets. We have Cavs tickets for a half season, and we have Indians tickets. And it's strange how fortunes change, because Indians tickets used to be somewhat of a disaster, although they always had something of a market because it takes place outdoors in the best weather season. So if you plan ahead and offer tickets to people, you can get rid of them. Cab seats obviously are self-explanatory. They're worth a lot because they give you access to playoff tickets. Last year's Indians tickets were the weirdest tickets ever because people did not care about the regular season. And then the entire city went bonkers for the playoffs. And now this year's regular season tickets have been predictably pretty in demand. You were saying you might actually consider buying some shit-ass Brown tickets.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I mean, it depends on the week.
You don't want to get shut out of the playoffs, huh?
Yeah, I think that's the concern. It's the first time I've actually bought into the Browns franchise, and I've only lived in Cleveland for like 2.5 years, and I wasn't going to go pay to see Cody Kessler, even though I kind of like Cody Kessler. I'm not paying for that. But
I mean, I like Josh Tomlin, but I'd rather see Kluber. Like, I get it.
Josh Tomlin tickets just get chucked, I'll tell you. I do not go to Josh Tomlin games, and I sit in right field. I'm in his favorite spot.
He's a
right
hell of a guy. Nice guy.
Nice guy, Josh.
He's a nice fourth starter in the major leagues.
He's giving.
He's giving. So tickets, you consider buying some Browns. And I was telling you, as somebody who formerly owned Browns tickets and got screwed all last year, don't do it. Just wait day of StubHub, man.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. The problem for me is, like, if I don't plan going to a game 3 days, 4 days in advance, it's really hard for me to get up in the morning and be like, oh, I'm going to go buy a ticket on StubHub.
Well, no, but Josh was saying in the electronic market nowadays, you just hit that button. And so plan on going. Go tailgate. And then 37 minutes before the game, hit that StubHub, grab from some poor fan. It's probably more like an hour and 37 minutes, but some poor fan who's sitting on a $50 ticket they can't use is going to let it go for $20.
It's probably more money in fees than it is the actual ticket itself.
I think it should be a reality show this year. I think we should pick 4 games, and you plan on going. And we'll find a sponsor, so you don't even have to pay for the tickets.
Oh, this is great!
Right, and then we'll see. We'll report back. It'll be an ongoing series. Like, I decided I'm going to go see the Browns versus the Jets. I'm not going to buy a ticket. Here's how I did.
Okay. Do I get a rating based on margin? So if I get a $50 ticket for $20, is that how I score?
Yes. The face value minus what you paid, including fees.
I'm down.
That would be such a... What we need is 3 contestants and make it a game show so that you're competing against Josh, who's competing against so-and-so.
Is this like the Seinfeld where like Kramer and George are like hawking opera tickets outside?
You know STO is going to steal this idea, have Jensen Lewis host it.
Christ.
Maybe Hattery can go to a game with Jensen Lewis and they can talk all game.
I feel like I just punched you in the arm.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts.
No, I actually think this is a cool idea. I wish I hadn't said it into a microphone so other people could hear it.
Who's going to sponsor it, though?
I don't know. I mean, we got to figure that out. Amazing tickets. No, they'd be the last ones to sponsor it because it's like going straight to StubHub. But no, this is totally doable, and this would be really fun. It'd be blog posts. We could have podcasts. It's like a multimedia affair.
We can do live while I'm on my phone, just searching for deals.
What would make it even more fun is if Hattery found a way to break into the stadium like they showed on Bleacher Report. The guy's like, "Ooh, I just broke into the Conor McGregor press conference."
What we need are 3 sponsors. Like, somebody has to use StubHub, somebody else has to use SeatGeek, and somebody else has to use like Charlie on the corner going, "I got seats, I got seats.
I need tickets," but yet they're selling 10.
Yeah. How do those guys still do okay? That's the one thing I wonder in this world of SeatGeek.
They do okay because the acquisition cost has been driven so far down. So they used to pay $30 for a ticket. Now they pay $12. and they're still making 20, or whatever, So yeah, it's just I mean, it's not like they ever had to pay the actual acquisition cost. They just lowered their acquisition cost, and people have to take whatever the market bears. So I think they do okay. I don't know.
It makes sense. I mean, when you're like StubHub's what, like 20% fees at this point? Like they can sub-sell that by 5% and still do okay, I would think. But.
So the other thing that we were talking about before we clicked live is, the Cavs, it's a blessing and a curse. Flash seats is a really great market because like the technology is good. You can see exactly where your seats are. You can place bids on multiple seats. It won't buy multiple tickets for you for one game. But at the same time, as somebody who has half a season and occasionally sells his tickets, because I can't go to every game. I can't go to every other game as a half season owner. It's the same thing. You get screwed. You just get, even for a team that features LeBron James and, used to feature Kyrie Irving.
Still does. You
get screwed the day of a game or the week leading up to a game. People don't buy ahead of time. They wait till the last minute, and they try and pay $40 for $100 tickets.
I'm one of those guys. So
and Dan Gilbert doesn't care. He makes his money no matter what. How do you fix it? Does nobody care to fix it?
As like a millennial law student, I'm okay with it going this way for another couple of years until I own a 40 game to the Cavs, and then I'll change my tune. But right now, I'm good with it.
I guess. I don't know. I understand making a profit, and for a while the Cavaliers were limiting if the quote unquote face value was 140. You could only sell it for 75% of face value. They wouldn't let you sell it for any less than that. But where that hurt was like, all right, if I have an entire half season, my average ticket price per game is $75. But no. It's $37 for the Grizzlies and $140 for the Blazers or whatever, the marquee matchups. And so if the Cavaliers are wrong with their dynamic pricing, and they are charging $140 for the Blazers, but the Blazers are playing on a Tuesday, the market might not actually reflect that, and all of a sudden I'm handcuffed. I can't sell my tickets. And to me, I don't care. My whole package cost X. Like, however I divide it up, I shouldn't be beholden to their market pricing. It's just a weird financial conundrum.
Actually, I want to ask you about this because you're like one of the few people I know who is a Cavs season ticket holder or has a package and an Indians package. And how do they compare owning packages in terms of not only the pricing, but also how they treat you as a season ticket holder?
So the Indians used to be the best, especially in the lean years. You would get all kinds of reward points, and we used to cash them in. A couple of times we got on a Sunday we got a field level loge by cashing in our points. So they gave us the tickets, so we had to buy a food package, which was still pretty expensive, but it was good for entertaining clients. And nobody's ever. I'm sure the Browns would probably give me something like that nowadays too. I don't know, but so they were really good about that. We'll see what success does to them because they're already doing away with the point system, and so we'll see what they replace it with. I don't know yet, but we've been season ticket holders since '94, and so I mean it's quite a long time. It doesn't feel that long to me because, as we discussed before we went live, I'm old. But at a certain point, that level of loyalty should be rewarded. We'll see what they do. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of the things. It seems like the Cavs have a much better step system for season ticket holders. Am I wrong in terms of if you're there for 5 or 6 years, they reward you for that versus in terms of upping your rewards? Is that true with the Indians or not matched?
I don't know. It's my perception more than anything else. I can't tell you whose point system is better. I feel like the Cavs, even in their really successful times, I think the sales reps really try and get to know you. I think the Browns have done a way better job in the last 4 or 5 years. But more than 4 or 5 years ago, they could not have cared less about if any group was legitimately taking for granted the fans, it was probably the Browns more than 5 years ago. I can't remember which leadership group brought in the people who were like actually legitimately trying to focus on customer service, but it's probably just around the Alex Shiner years. For all the things that we make fun of with Alex Shiner, the customer service jumped big time when he came into the organization from a season ticket holder standpoint.
Okay.
I've never been a season ticket holder.
You've only ever been to 2 Browns games, you said.
2 regular season, 1 preseason.
So 2.
Yep.
Why?
The way I saw it was if I'm spending $70 or $80 on a Browns ticket, which I can probably get for cheaper now on StubHub, I'd much rather drive down to Columbus and go to an Ohio State game for $70 or $80.
They're on the same days now?
Well, no.
It's only
But if
$70.
I'm going to spend $70 or $80 to see a football game in person, I'd much rather make an hour and a half trip down to
Yes,
Columbus.
but how many shitty country concerts could you skip and
Oh,
still
my
go to a Browns
goodness.
game? How many Florida Georgia Line shows would you have to skip to go to a Browns game?
Hey, Florida Georgia Line and Nelly.
Oh, God.
They toured together. They're actually at Blossom Lake.
Did you go?
No, I was on vacation.
Okay.
Or else
But
I
you
would've-
would have gone.
I would have went.
Oh, what a disaster.
I heard Faith Hill's in town soon. Is that
Yeah,
true?
her and
Tim
Tim
McGraw?
McGraw. Yeah, I don't know when. That's at the Q, actually.
All right, so what's
Craig's going.
what's the country power? I might have to go to that show because my wife is a giant fan of those two. But
God.
so what's the country power rankings?
See, I haven't been to Blossom yet this summer. Blossom, it's more about the atmosphere. It's kind of
But
like,
come on, did you go to that? Who was the crappy guy who came to Progressive Field the day after Billy
well,
Joel?
according to you guys, every country singer is crappy.
Specifically, the day after Billy Joel at Progressive
Luke
Field.
Bryan.
Luke who?
Luke Bryan.
Brian?
Brian.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Is he the guy who wears like designer jeans but
Yeah.
acts like he's like country and humble? Because I love that. That's great. He's driving a $100,000 truck, but he knows what hunting and fishing's like. I love that. Love that.
I'm about to get 5 points deducted on me on Slack, but you guys are all haters.
Is that the guy who sings about the red Solo cups?
No,
No.
that's Toby Keith. No,
Whatever.
that's kind of country.
They're all the same.
He just gets drunk and drinks out of Red Solo cup and sings about Red Solo cups.
I actually kind of enjoy that song. It was
Of course you do.
sort of a discussion of American culture.
Craig definitely sings that song when he's by himself.
I don't know that.
Red Solo cup.
I was the last one to hear that song, I think. But I heard it because Dustin Fox used to torture Bull with it on the air. They played it for like 3 weeks straight, and I was like, I've never heard this song in my life.
How do we just go from season tickets
Because we're talking about
to
tickets.
country music?
Because we're talking about your ticket priorities and
Oh,
the fact that
Oh, Blossom concert would definitely be above Browns. Well, right now. Maybe not this year, but in previous years.
You're a Blossom fan, like as a venue? I don't know.
I've never been anywhere different. So
I
don't
specifically
really have anything
avoid Blossom, and in every city I've ever lived, I've avoided every venue like Blossom, where you'd have to wait in a parking lot line for an hour and a half after a show. Back in, and maybe this is just my age again, but back in the olden days, there used to be like DUI checkpoints on the way in, and people would miss half a show. Like maybe it's gotten better, but Blossom was a disaster when I was growing up.
Trying to get out is still a disaster.
Okay.
People just try to cut each other off, and it's bad.
It's like unsanitary out there too. Like I had a friend who got like really sick. He got like a bug bite, got deathly ill. Like it's weird out there.
I went to a Lollapalooza there once. I wanted to see the Deftones, and they were opening for Pantera there.
Okay.
That was like one of the scariest shows of my life.
I have no idea who you guys are talking about. This is like Spanish to me right now.
You haven't heard of Pantera? No?
No.
All right. Just one of the most famous, I'm not saying best, but one of the most famous metal bands of all time. Like, like a notch below Metallica in terms of notoriety. But, all right. Anyway, we're back. Let's get back on tickets. Is there anything else about sports tickets that we need to talk about?
What's the best ticket in town in terms of, like, you have that friend from college who isn't that responsible and you want to take him to go hang out? What's the place you want to take him?
I'd say it depends if they like baseball or don't like basketball, but I'd say the Indians, because if you don't really like baseball, go to the corner and just hang out.
Well, I had a friend who is from here, but he lives in California, and he came back here for his bachelor party, and it was like 20 of them. They all went to a Tribe game, and it's outcome independent. Like, so I mean, it's got to be the Tribe. The Browns can make you miserable because there are so few games that it's scary. The Cavs are second because as long as they have LeBron, you should enjoy every game. And we'll see about Kyrie. But, I mean, the Cavs are the attraction. So even if they're playing, I don't fill in the 76ers, you should be entertained by the home team. And we haven't always been able to say that about Cleveland sports teams, where the home team was the attraction. And it's kind of nice.
That's great.
So is that all we have to talk about with tickets?
I think that's it.
And we got to get our game show going. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Like, honestly, how many points do you think you could score per Browns game? Is it like, because it's going to be real strategy.
Wait, what's the point?
It also
system?
depends when are rounds.
Market value minus acquisition cost. So like it's gonna be tempting to try and buy like a club seat that has a high face value and get it for the lowest possible price. If you try and buy an upper deck ticket, you're limited. That's maximum $75. You're limiting your margin.
For the Browns Jets, you can make or win a lot of points on that one.
I don't know about that, because New York is well represented even when they're bad.
They really are. The marginal value gap, I think, is going to be biggest when they have 3 wins in late November, early December. You can get tickets for those games for nothing.
But we're going to have to pick the same games for the contestants.
Don't they play Christmas Eve day, too?
Let me look.
I'm pretty sure Christmas is on a Monday. So the Christmas Eve day could be a pretty cheap game as well.
So, all right. Now I have one last topic then, because my wife is from Indianapolis. The Browns play in Indy this year. And we're going to be in town that weekend. So I'm trying to figure out, like, well, what do Colts tickets do? Do they sync on game day? Just like, and is this a phenomenon league wide, or is it a Browns phenomenon?
Considering their star quarterback still has a flip phone, I assume that they're not really technologically advanced.
But I mean, what does that mean for the ticket price? You do you really think Indianapolis people are less technologically advanced than people?
You can't use these phones.
Have you ever been to Medina? I mean,
whoa,
boom!
Hating on country music, hating on Medina.
Wow, that's where my family's from too. That's a bad play.
It's just funny to me because people rip on Indianapolis because it's Indiana. They think it's country, and it's like
Indianapolis is. I love Indianapolis,
but it's like it's more city than half of Ohio, like, or most of Cleveland.
The drive
suburbs.
to Indianapolis, though, is horrible. Like that 70 stretch from Columbus to Indy is country everywhere.
It's boring. Yeah, they're RV shops. It's like it.
Sounds horrifying.
All right, so yeah, September 24th, they're playing at the Colts. The third game of the season. The Browns might be 0-2 against the Steelers and the Ravens.
They're going to beat the Ravens? No, they're going to beat the Steelers.
How much?
You heard it here first.
How much does the London home game affect other ticket prices too? Because they only have 7 home games this year.
That's a good question.
Does that like increase the attendance at those home games or cost of tickets?
It should.
I would think.
The real question is,
it should raise demand for every other game.
What sponsor can we get to send Mike Hattery to London?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'll just go there anyway. I haven't been there in a while.
All right. Well, I think that's it. I think we covered it. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you next time. I think we're going to do an Indians podcast next. So until next time, it's been the waitingfornextyear.com podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Go find us on iTunes. Give us a rating, hopefully a good one.